Jingle all the way.
Sure, here's a Google Play Music radio mix based on the Choral Christmas playlist. Ho ho ho.
Hey guys, I know everybody's getting their Google Homes or Google Home Minis in the mail that they ordered during Black Friday, and now you're all wondering, how do I set up my smart home? So I want to show you guys what I have set up. For me, it was the cheapest option and it was the easiest to set up, and I think it could be really helpful for you. For me, it's working great. The first thing you need to know with your smart home setup is what's going to be the heart of the setup. What's going to control all of the devices. And what I have for that is the Google Home and the Samsung SmartThings Hub. With the Google Home, I can command all the devices to do whatever I want. With the SmartThings Hub, devices can talk to each other. So that's why I have these two setups. I went with the Google Home Mini because I think it looks great, and I think Google's a great company. They're really invested in AI. Right now with the SmartThings setup, from what I've heard, I haven't tested both, but from what I've heard, they're a little bit behind Amazon Alexa, but I think Amazon Alexa looks terrible, and everybody is saying that the Google Home is more intelligent, so when you have just general questions, the Google Home is going to answer better. I think Google Home is going to catch up to Alexa in the other ways as soon as it has a little more time. The Mini is brand new, while the Dot's been out for a while. The Amazon Alexa's been out for a while, so I think Google's going to catch up. I think they're going to do great. Right now it's working great so far. The Home Mini was easy to set up right out of the box, plug it in, some quick commands to get it all set up, and it's ready to go. I got these from Walmart so that I could get the 25 credit on Google Express, so I got 2 of them for 50 bucks. Normally they're $50 each.
What's the temperature outside?
In Lehigh, it's currently 19 degrees.
What's the square root of 47?
Square root 47 is approximately 6.856.
Who is Jim Carrey?
According to Wikipedia, James Eugene Carey is a Canadian-American actor, comedian, impressionist, screenwriter, and producer.
The SmartThings Hub, again, is what's going to tell devices to talk to each other. I got this on sale from Amazon for $50 during the holiday shopping. This retails for $100. It has its own separate hub that plugs into your router for your home internet, and really easy to set up. Again, has an app that's very intuitive. All of the devices tie into it pretty seamlessly. I was a little disappointed that there weren't more devices that were compatible with the SmartThings Hub, to be honest. The Google Home actually, with what I had, had more devices that were compatible with it than the SmartThings Hub did. But between the two, I'm able to control most things. Now, there are 2 apps that I also need to control all my devices in exactly the way I want to. The first one is IFTTT, which stands for If This, Then That, which is a free app. If you go to IFTTT Maker online, you can have one trigger through your Google Home, tell it to do one thing, and you can have multiple commands after that. So turn on this light, turn on this outlet. You can have all of these devices work together in more unique ways through IFTTT Maker. If you just go to IFTTT on your phone, you can do one if, one trigger, and one that. So that helps devices work together, whether it's through your voice or, when this light turns on, turn this on, things like that. Stringify is the other app. Stringify is a little more complex. It's a little more difficult to set up, but it can get really complex in terms of the automation that you set up. So if it's 2 o'clock and I'm at work and the temperature is below 50 degrees, then turn on this light to 50% and send me a text to do this. It's really complex on what you can set up. You have to be kind of creative about that. But with these 2 apps, IFTTT and Stringify, plus the SmartThings Hub, you really can do whatever you want with all your devices, based on your location, based on what your thermostat is saying the temperature is, things like that. So really cool. The one limitation that I've seen is none of these apps or devices can send commands to the Google Home. So I can't tell the Google Home to play music from my hub or from one of these apps. Luckily, Google just came out with the two triggers for one command. So now I can set up a shortcut on Google Home where I say, turn on Christmas time, and it'll turn on my lights from the SmartThings Hub, but it's also set up to play music. So using shortcuts with the command to Google Home, you really now have the ability to create any scene that you want to with your smart home setup with the Google Home. Okay, so that's the heart. And now I want to move on to just general electric setup. The first thing that was most important to me was the lighting system. So what I wanted to do is switch out for my light switches. When you do lighting, you have two options. You have light bulbs or you have light switches. Now, obviously light bulbs are a lot easier because you just replace your light bulbs. The downside for me is the light bulbs are expensive, and you know, this room right here has 6 bulbs, and I'd have to replace all of those bulbs with smart bulbs. We're also really picky about the lighting in our house. We like to have bulbs that look good. We like to have nice natural lighting, different in each room of the house, so we didn't want to have to rely on smart bulbs for all of that. The benefit to the smart bulbs is you can get colored bulbs, so you could, you know, make your room blue or red or whatever you want to. So that's the upside. Ultimately for me, I thought it was easier just to switch out the light switches. You have to do some electrical work, but it's about the simplest thing you can do, just switching your light switches. So for that, I went with the Lutron Caseta system. It's more expensive, but it's a great system, and the reason I had to go with Lutron Caseta is because I didn't have any neutral wires in my outlet, in my electrical boxes, and most of the options that are out there require a neutral wire in your electrical box. So I really didn't have a choice but to go with the Lutron Caseta, but I'm very happy with it. The other options are Leviton has some switches that you can get from Best or Home Depot. GE has some smart switches. A lot of people use the Wemo light switch. So there's some different options out there. Those are going to run you usually about $35 to $45 each. The Lutron switches are about $55 each, but I was able to get them off eBay from individual seller for about $40 each. I also got the starter kit, which has 2 switches with remotes, and the hub. So that's one thing with the Lutron setup, is it also has its own hub that can tie in very well to SmartThings. It can tie into the Google Home. It also ties into HomeKit, so I can control it with Siri. So that's why I really like the Lutron, even though it's more expensive. If you're going to get it, look for the deals. I got the starter kit for 120 bucks, normally 160 bucks, and it's a great lighting setup. Turn the living room main light to 100%.
You got it. Set the main light's brightness to 100.
Okay, Google. Set the living room main lights to 10%.
You got it. Set the main light's brightness to 10%.
So the next thing I wanted to have set up was my outlets. For this, I got 4 of these smart outlets from Amazon. These are Chinese outlets, and they're not very integrated with many things. They do tie into my Google Home. They will tie into IFTTT, but they don't tie directly into my SmartThings Hub, which is a huge disappointment. I might go with something different if I could go back now. But they're working great. Once I get them tied into what they will integrate with, they're working well. I got them because I got 4 for $50, which is really cheap compared to the other smart outlets you're going to see out there. And you know, so they're working good now. You might want to look for something that's compatible with your smart home hub, so that they can easily integrate with your lighting system and your alarm system and things like that. Turn off the window lamp. Turn on the window lamp. So I have my lights, I have my plugs for lamps and things like that. The next thing that's important is my thermostat. So I want to be able to control my thermostat with my whole smart home setup. The biggest standard, industry standard for thermostats is the Nest thermostat. I got that from a gift from my dad about a year ago. Luckily, it ties in very well with the SmartThings Hub. It ties in well with the Google Home. So I can control temperature with my voice. I can control temperature with my other devices. And I really like the Nest thermostat. You also have Ecobee. There's some other options out there. Nest has some great deals from power companies and things like that, so make sure if you're going to get a Nest thermostat, you look for the rebates, and you can get them for really cheap once you apply the rebates, at least here in Utah. Okay, so lighting, plugs, temperature in the house. The next thing I want to talk about is set up with your entertainment system. So I already had a Google Chromecast, which is another reason I got the Google Home. That was $35. I got it for $35, pretty cheap. And with the Chromecast, you can turn on your TV, you can turn off your TV. Your TV has to be CEC capable, which most new televisions are. But you want to make sure you have that so that you can turn on and off the TV. Once the TV's on, well, even before it's on, you can tell your Google Home, hey, play, you know, this show on Netflix. It'll turn it on, it'll play the show. It only works with Netflix and YouTube, and one of the big downsides that I've found is you can't browse. So you have to know what you're going to watch before you start it. But once you have something playing, you can pause, stop, skip to the next episode, skip to the next YouTube video, things like that. So pretty cool. Show me pictures of Chicago.
Showing your photos of Chicago on Black's Chromecast.
Play Friends on Netflix.
Alright, Friends from Netflix. Playing on Black's Chromecast.
Play Pandora on the Chromecast.
Okay, music from Pandora. Playing on Black's Chromecast.
Play cat videos on YouTube.
Okay, playing cat videos from YouTube on Black's Chromecast.
So that's the Chromecast. You can also get a Chromecast audio device, which is also $35, which plugs into your speakers. So if you don't like the speaker on the Google Home, you can, directly send audio to other speakers in your home. A lot of people think that the Google Home Mini should have an out auxiliary cable. I actually disagree on that, because I don't think you want your Google Home plugged into the wall and then a cable going from your Google Home over to your speakers. I think you want it to be wireless. So having that Google Audio dongle is actually, I think, a great idea. Okay, so one thing that you really want to be able to trigger different events in your home are door sensors. So when I open the door, what do I want to happen? I want to have my front room, living room lights come on, and other things like that. I want it to trigger an alarm if it's during the night or I'm not home. So I got the SmartThings multi-purpose sensors. These go right on both sides of the door, and they tie in obviously directly with the SmartThings Hub. And this will allow all of the devices to work upon the command of a door opening or a door closing. And I can always check and see whether a door is open or closed. So I got these for $20 each. Pretty simple setup. You just, it has sticky on the back, and you just stick it to the door, one to the door, one to the frame, and plug it into the hub, and it works really well. Now I want to talk a little bit about security, because that was one thing. We're having a baby. We wanted to be able to set up our home with a security system without going with the super expensive system that we had to pay a monthly fee for. And since we were setting up the smart home, we wanted it to tie into this whole system. So one thing I got for that was the Aeotec Siren. This was $50 off of Amazon. And it ties directly into the SmartThings Hub, which is really nice. So I can say if the door's open and it's after this time of day, set off the siren. It's really loud. It has lights that flash, plugs right into an outlet. So it's really simple setup, but I think a really effective way to just, scare off any potential intruders if I'm not home or I'm asleep. So that's a great option there. I know there's some other options out there that I didn't look too much into. Some of the other options have other audio capabilities. So, if someone opens the door, you can have it chime. This is really just a siren, and I kind of wish I would have done a little more shopping there, but this is a great device for a home alarm setup. If you have it with motion sensors, just be aware that it could have false alarms if it senses motion from maybe a car driving by or something like that, a light coming in on your wall, and you might have some false alarms, which would be really annoying because this is really loud. So we just have them set up with our door sensors and turning on a certain time of day or night, and that makes it work really well. Okay, siren. The other thing we have is an August smart lock. We actually had this before as well. We got it for an Airbnb setup because the August smart lock works really well with Airbnb. I probably wouldn't go with this setup if I was going to start over right now. One reason is I have to buy a separate hub for it to work with SmartThings. That's not worth it to me because the smart lock was also already very expensive. It does tie right into HomeKit, which is nice. So, you know, it's tied to my phone, so when I get home, the door automatically unlocks. I can lock it and unlock it at any time. But if I want to be able to control it from outside of my Bluetooth range, I need to have a separate hub set up for this. That's one downside of the August lock. It also looks really bulky and electronic, and my wife hates it, so we have to keep it on the back door. There's other smart locks that look more like a natural deadbolt. So not my favorite, but still works really well. And a smart lock is a great way. You know, you get home, walk up to your door, your lights turn on because, you know, it can tell where your phone is, and then your door unlocks and you can walk right in. I think my wife is coming around to putting a smart lock on the front door because now every time she's walking up, the lights turn on, the alarm turns off, but she has to get out the key to unlock the door. So we're making progress there. Hey Siri, unlock the back door.
You will need to unlock your iPhone first. Okay, the back door is unlocked.
And the last part of the security setup is the cameras. So for inside cameras, I wasn't too picky about inside cameras. I just wanted something so that if we heard something outside or if there was motion in my house and I wasn't home, I could be alerted. For that, I just got the Yi home camera from Amazon. These are like 25 bucks each. They have two-way audio, so you can talk to whoever's there on the other side of the camera. You can open it up anytime and see what's going on in your home. So I got two of those for 40 bucks. Super cheap, easy to set up. Not the highest quality. The picture's not great. And you know, if you really wanted to be able to have good video footage of someone inside your home, if there was an intrusion, this might not be the best option, but it worked for my needs and it's really cheap. The outside cameras were more important to me. I want to know if someone's at my front door, and you know, I want to be able to see if I have packages on my front door. I want to be alerted if there's motion at my front door, and I want to be able to look at the video now and later. So for that, I got the Arlo camera system. Big reason for getting this was it was on sale at Walmart for $200 for Black Friday. This is normally a $400 setup with 3 outdoor cameras. But the nice thing about these is they're battery powered. It's also a downside because you have to replace batteries. But I like that I didn't have to rewire anything outside to be able to have security cameras. So that's why I went with Arlo. One big downside is the mount is magnetic. So, you know, if you have it just on the magnetic mount outside, obviously someone can come and take your camera. The other option is just to screw on a mount on the bottom. But that's also easy to just unscrew and take the camera as well. So I don't feel super secure that my cameras outside are not going to be stolen. That's one downside for me of Arlo. But again, I'm going for the easy, cheap setup. I got it super cheap at Walmart. I got the easy setup because, you know, I don't have to wire anything, which is great. So that's the entire system. We have our lights, we have our plugs, we have our thermostat to control, we have our entertainment system, we have our door sensors, our Siren, our locks, our cameras, and you know, that pretty much covers everything you're gonna need. I got this whole setup for about $1,000, which kind of surprised me once we got everything put together. It's a little more expensive than I had planned on going, but it's really cool to have everything tied in. I can control things by my voice from my home. I can control things by my phone's location, as well as manually through the apps that are, you know, that go with all these products from anywhere I am. I can always see what's going on in my home, and we're really happy with it. So I hope this was helpful for you guys. I definitely recommend the Google Home Mini. I recommend all of these products as a home setup system. Let me know if you guys have any questions down in the comments. I'd be happy to answer. I'm going to put all of these links to all of these products in the description so you guys have access there. And I wish you luck.